and I am just hammering that thing with a wiffle ball bat. Before Power Rangers, before Tickle Me Elmo, before Furbies, before all that stuff, there was one toy that just grabbed a hold of me as a kid, and I couldn't get out of my head. I wanted it so bad. It wasn't GI Joes, it wasn't Transformers, it wasn't anything like that. There was a commercial in the mid 80s that was from Hasbro, and they had a toy called the My Buddy doll. And originally, the toy was supposed to be to help kids learn about, being nice to other kids, having friends, how to basically treat other kids. And it was, if you're unfamiliar with the doll, it was basically a life-sized kid doll that a little boy that you could he came with like a little hammer and tools and stuff and like a little hat, and he was in some overalls, um, and so basically it was designed so you could take him with you on your journeys as a kid and hang out and have fun. And so even if you were an only child, or if you were like me and you didn't have any brothers, you only had a sister, you would never really be going on an adventure alone, and you would be able to hang out with my buddy. And so I begged my parents for a My Buddy. That's all I wanted was a My Buddy doll, and so I asked and I asked and I asked, and they were the hot toy. They came out originally in 1985. By the time I was old enough to want one and get one and kind of know what they were a little bit easier to find. And one Christmas, ripping open the box. There's a big box in the corner, and I think I know that this has got to be the My Buddy doll. It's got to be the My Buddy doll. And I ripped the paper off the box, and there it is. It's My Buddy. And my mom sitting there, and she'll tell you, she gives her side of it, because I asked her about this one time, and she watched as my face went from just pure excitement and joy of getting a My Buddy doll to looking at it in person and it just absolutely freaking me out. And so I opened it, and I it was kind of like a yay, and then I let it and I went and I screamed, and I didn't want it, and it scared me. And I would tell her all the time, like, this scares me. I don't like it. I don't want to play with it. And years ago, my parents they converted the home video VHS tapes that we had into DVDs, and they sent me a bunch of DVDs. And I can go through the years like 89, 90, 91, 92, and like you can see in a bunch of them, it's like me, and I have this little like pedal fire truck, and I got a little fire hat because at one point I wanted to be a fireman. And my dad is standing there, and he's like, "Why don't you take my buddy with you?" And I'm like, "No," and I just leave him behind. Like, I did not want to hang out with him at all, and it just because it scared the absolute daylights out of me. So one day, yeah, I'm my sister's 2 years older than me. So there's one day where my parents, they need to go get groceries, and they make the judgment call that my sister is old enough to watch me at home and nothing bad's going to happen. She's at that age where she's able to babysit and everything's fine. So they go get groceries, and where we live is such a small area that it's at least half an hour each way, just a half hour drive each way to get to the grocery store. Then you grocery shop, and then you come back. So they're gone for a good couple hours, and so we have horses in the backyard. My mom and my sister took over the garage and turned that into a horse makeshift barn, which is still there to this day. And so my sister's out with the horses. Being allergic to hay, cruel joke on me. We have horses at home. So she's out hanging out with the horses. I'm doing my own thing inside. Everybody's happy. So my parents get home from getting groceries, and they call to me, to help bring in groceries because they see my sister out with the horses. But they're like, oh, Chris can come in and help with the groceries, bring in all the bags. And so my mom's calling for me, can't find me anywhere. And so she, after a couple of minutes, she really starts to freak out because she's like, I have no idea where this kid is. Like, this is now a problem. It's now an issue where we don't know where our son is. So she goes out and she's like, really starting to get freaked out. And she goes out to my sister who's outside in the backyard with the horses. And she's like, where is Chris? Like, we can't find him anywhere. And my sister, looks around and goes, oh, he's right there. He's right over there. And so my mom looks over and she freaks out because all she sees is me, and I'm in front of a tree, and hanging upside down from the tree is the My Buddy doll, and I am just hammering that thing with a wiffle ball bat. And basically what happened was, while my parents were gone, because he scared me, I snuck up on him like ninja style and got him in a chokehold, brought him outside, and threw him down on the ground, tied a rope around his leg, and then hoisted it over the branch, pulled it down so he's hanging upside down. And I found my wiffle ball bat, and I'm just wailing away. And so my mom runs up to me, and she grabs the bat out of my hand, and she's like, "What are you doing? Like, we paid good money for this thing. What are you doing? Don't break this thing." And I'm just screaming as I'm trying to hit it with the bat. I'm just like, he scares me. He scares me. I don't like him. And so that was the last day that I had a My Buddy doll. And every so often I look him up just to remind myself, that the terror is real, and absolutely will never, ever convince me anything except for the fact that the My Buddy doll was the inspiration for Chucky from Child's Play. And it just was the first in a long-standing tradition of me not using toys in the appropriate way that they were designed to be, like when you put Megadeth and Slayer cassette tapes into Teddy Ruxpin. But that's not a story for this time. This has been another episode of Sit Down Stand Up. I am Chris, Friends with Benefits podcast. You can also check out Who Wrote That Shopping List and all the other assorted videos that we've got. Thank you for listening. If you had an incident with the My Buddy doll, tell me about it in the comments. If you have no idea what My Buddy doll is and you just now learned, also share that in the comments, and we can be traumatized together. Until next time, thanks for listening.